Hello everyone, this is John. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Today we're going to talk about some current events, or maybe a progression of events that is going to be, that's going to be in your face. Let's get to it. All right, this week I've done an awful lot of discussion about economics, monetary policy, the stock market, and I wanted to get back into some hardcore, you better get prepped type of thinking. So what I've got here is I've got some headlines that are going to tell you that you need to get ready for shit hitting the fan, that you need to get good, you need to get wise, you need to get practiced in the art of self-defense. So, right? What am I talking about? I'm talking about the push for partisan war. And a partisan war that could be so explosive that it could lead to civil war. Certainly civil disobedience, certainly chaos, and maybe even true civil war. And I've said, hey, I think that that's kind of a long shot, but things are ramping up. They're ramping up. So what I've got here is that Trump, President Donald J. Trump, he is the focus of socialist hatred. He is the focus of Democrat hatred. They're absolutely stuck in a quagmire of stupidity around him. But it doesn't matter. You see, facts don't matter. Truth doesn't matter. The only thing that matters, conjecture. It's everything that's going on. It's conjecture. It's conspiracy theory because they haven't provided any fact, right? No conspiracy fact coming from the left. It's just partisanship and hatred. Now, you might say, John, partisan hatred, we've had it for a long time. Never to this degree. John, partisan hatred, the left, the right, we've all done it. No, not to this degree, right? The hatred that's out there now is resulting in violence. And it reminds me of what I learned about Germany in history. There was political turmoil in post-World War I Germany, and it resulted in the creation of the fascist state in Germany. And inside of that, what fueled it, what gave the Nazi Party power, drive, what gave it the impetus to keep going, was the fact that the people, a large enough percentage of them, became violent. They were supplemented by the Hitler Youth, by the brown shirts, and by the secret police. That's very important to understand. Brown shirts, youth, and secret police. What do we have today with Democrats? We've got Antifa, the modern day version of the brown shirts. We have the Hitler Youth. The modern day equivalent is what is coming out of high school and colleges. Not all of them. But the ones that are socialists, they're coming out believing the most radical thinking. And they're combining it with the most violent hatred. When I walk down the street and I see someone wearing a fuck Trump shirt, I'm thinking, okay, political free speech, fine. That's quite a bit different than saying, make America great again. Which is considered an offense to Antifa and far-left communist types that is so egregious that it demands a response of violence just to wear a MAGA hat or something that's pro-Trump. But they actually have shirts that say, fuck Trump. I see it in social media. I see it everywhere. It's incredible. The violence inherent in the system is inherent on the left. It's inherent in big government, in statist mentality. That's where it's at. And if you're not over there, you face a more serious threat than anyone else. Over on the left, yeah, they're dangerous. I don't like them, fuck them. But over there, they say it about us. Oh, they're on the right. Fuck them. Let's go fuck them up. We are a much bigger target because we are the subject of their ire, of their hatred. So, anyways, yeah, I'm going to say Trump is the focus of socialist hatred. You know, the headlines, if you read them in a paper, if you see them on TV, if you catch them online, social media, 90% plus. I believe it's now over 95% plus. You can quote me on that. It's somewhere up there. Is anti-Trump. So I pulled a few examples to quote. Yahoo News, Obama takes jab at Trump. Right. And then they go on in the story to talk about, you know, how brilliant Obama is and how evil Trump is. More Yahoo News, former Trump cabinet chief, that would be Manafort, to be sentenced, possibly to life. Right. What does that say? These two stories from Yahoo, and most of them are even worse. I just grabbed the first two I could just to write them down. But there are far worse, where they just come out and accuse Trump of some of the most outlandish shit. Still. Anyways, what these do is they tell people on the left, those with hatred for Trump and hatred for you, look at all the criminality coming from the Trump administration and those that support him. If it wasn't for those that support Trump, Trump wouldn't be in power and we wouldn't have this problem. You see, that's how they think. So they don't see Trump as the only problem. They see you, they see me as a problem. Because we elected him and we created this problem. They don't see everything that the Democrats have done wrong. They don't see everything that's been done wrong for decades. They have a memory that's about this fucking long, about as long as their penises. And because their memory is this long, and because they're indoctrinated, because they are short-sighted, they only see and hear and repeat the mantra coming from the news and their leftist leaders. So, let's kick over to Fox. Cohen sues Trump for millions in legal fees. Why? Right, this is Fox News. And anything on YouTube that is mainstream media, despite how crazy it is, how off the cuff, how disgusting, even on Comedy Central, they're completely monetized. Completely monetized. You get that news story from anyone else or a news story about that topic, no monetization. Incredible. Anyways, oh yeah, there was more coming out about Stormy Daniels, you know, just ridiculous stuff. Anyways, yeah, let's go to USA Today. Cohen says Trump paid hush money. Well, Cohen is a lawyer, strike one. Cohen has been found guilty of lying, strike two. And Cohen is cooperating with the Democrats behind the scenes, strike three. This man cannot be trusted. Yet, he makes mainstream headlines that gets monetized as if he is a veritable source, a truthful source, a trustable source. Let's move down to The Daily Show. Russia and Trump are colluding. 20 minutes of Don Lemon and his anti-white racist mentality and thinking. Right, the leftist, you have to hate yourself if you want to be accepted as a white person. Absolutely incredible, monetized. Fox News, Adam Schiff says direct evidence of Trump and Russian collusion. This is all within the last 24 hours. I'm not bringing news stories up from last month or 3 fucking months ago or a year ago. This is today. Whoops. This is today. Little clipboard. This is today. And it doesn't stop. There is no end to it. Now, I want to draw some distinctions between you and I and the left. When Obama was president, you know, we weren't happy about it. You know, we thought he's an idiot. He's a lawyer. He's a drug user. He's more than likely a closet Muslim that's lying about his Christianity. You know, we've got all of our conspiracy theories about him and all of our facts about him. Barry Soetoro, right? Where's your real birth certificate that wasn't photoshopped in the last, you know, after you were elected president, right? But there's, on this side, I have never heard racism. I've never heard someone say, well, because he's a black president, he shouldn't be in there. Because he's a black president, he's incompetent. Because he's a black president, we should shoot him. Nobody, and I mean nobody, have I seen say that anywhere. I don't go looking for it, but I don't hear it. Everything we said about Obama had to do with partisanship. Our dislike for him, our disagreement with him, our disgust with him. Right? What I'm saying is that we disliked Obama. Some of us to a great degree. but there were never death threats. Not from anyone I ever heard. Certainly not because he was black. But no, there was none of that. It was just, we got to suffer through this shit. He got reelected. We got to suffer through it again. We got to put up with all this Obamacare shit. Reaching into our pockets. And every individual paying thousands of dollars a year out of their pocket into insurance companies' coffers. Because this asshole got elected. If anyone should have a reason to be really mad at him, it should be us. Trump, all he's done is give tax cuts to people. He hasn't passed egregious laws that make people spend their money on shit they don't need, or want, or deserve. Right? Who deserves Obamacare? Everyone I know that has been forced into the system has been unhappy with it. Everybody. I have not met one person, Democrat or Republican, who said, Obamacare helped me out. Everyone was like, it sucks. And even the Democrats are like, yeah, John, I'm not real happy with it, but, it's for the nation. And they just kind of mumble it off. I know what that means. They know they're getting fucked too. But, praise Obama. Now, right? We have partisan dislikes for him. I don't like the way he talks. I don't like how he holds his head up like he's some kind of communist dictator and the sun from Sol Invictus shines upon it. Give me a fucking break, right? All of that crap. I hate that crap. Right out of the communist fucking propaganda playbook. Anyways, the partisanship, or rather the hatred, violent-laced partisanship coming from the left, it is real and it is violent. It is inherently violent in the words they use, the attitude they take, and the actions they have demonstrated. Now, how do I say this? They hate Trump. But who gets hit with sticks, rocks, firecrackers, bottles, glass? Who gets beat with sticks, bats, boots, and fists? Who gets chased out of restaurants? Who gets yelled at on the street? Who gets threatened with violence and intimidation? Who loses jobs as a result of their support of President Donald J. Trump? You, me, people we know. We are the targets of their hatred. And their hatred on a daily basis, as I demonstrated with just a few headlines from today. That hatred is fueled every fucking day. Every day. And I have to look. It's difficult. 1 in 20 articles might be considered neutral or positive about Trump. The rest are anti-Trump. They're anti-you because you get blamed for it. Right? Through their weird fucking thinking, these socialist scumbags on the left blame us for Trump being in office. Right? You can't wear a MAGA hat because that causes a microaggression. And in their speak, a microaggression is, even though it's a psychological attack on them, they feel it's a psychological attack. You expressing your political speech is not political speech. To them, it's an attack on them. It's called a microaggression. And it doesn't matter how fucking micro it is. What matters to them is that it occurred, and they consider it every bit as bad, as violent as being physically assaulted themselves. So wearing a MAGA hat, a Make America Great shirt, a Trump bumper sticker, anything pro-Trump, anything, causes them physical, psychological trauma and pain. And that is why they respond so violently. These people are brainwashed numbskulls. And they're out there. And they hate you. And you need to be on the protective defense. I'm not telling you to shoot anyone. I'm not telling you to beat people if they approach you. I'm telling you need to be on your defense. You need to be aware. Head on a swivel. Stay frosty. Eyes up. Right? Don't walk around texting on your phone and looking at your feet if you're going to wear any Trump paraphernalia. Because you might get clobbered. It has happened. You turn your back on these people and they group attack. Because they're cowards. they're weaklings, they're pussies, and they're psychologically children. Now, I've gone through all of that to lead up to this point. You need to be trained now. You need to have your self-defense on you. If you can, get a concealed weapons permit. I don't tell you guys to do much. I make recommendations. I say think about it. I say come to your own conclusions. But I'm going to say now, get yourself some legal self-defense. Get a concealed weapons permit. If you can, there is always a knife somewhere within arm's reach of me. A knife. I have a concealed weapons permit just because you don't know. My work is going to go into a active shooter drill mode thing here, and everyone's all panicked about it, right? But it's a matter of protection, of defense, of being prepared. Now, the reason I'm saying this, get it now. It's not that bad, John. Get it now. It's only in the big cities. Get it now. Because when things get bad, when they ramp up, even worse, you won't have time. In California, where you can get a concealed weapons permit rather easily, they have to have a reason to deny it. Even though everyone thinks California is completely fucked up, which it is. To get a concealed weapons permit, it is not as difficult as anyone thinks. It takes some time to do the paperwork, to do the background checks. They drag their feet a little bit. I get it. You take the class, you get certified. Once you have it, and you are now legally authorized to carry a weapon to protect yourself, family, friends, strangers, if they are an imminent threat of death or great bodily injury in the state of California. Right? In those situations, I can pull the gun out and I can fire it in self-defense to protect myself and others. When an event happens, you have to ask yourself, why is this happening? If you don't have an answer, it doesn't matter. Because then the next question is, what is the reaction going to be from the left? I can throw out some what ifs. Right? What if there's a banking collapse? Who is going to get blamed? Who is the left going to blame? Greedy corporations. Are they necessarily wrong? No, they might be completely right. Correct. They're going to blame greedy corporations. But who supports greedy corporations and who do greedy corporations support? Of course, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. And since they can't get to him, they're going to get to you. If there is a disruption in the distribution of fuel, food, water, right? People are hungry, people are scared, they can't get money out of their banks. If a shit-it's-the-fan situation comes up, an event, right? And it could be just the announcement of a stock market collapse. If anything like that occurs, guess who gets the blame? You. Because you're the one they see on the street. You know, now I'm very white. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm extremely white, blonde, and I can easily be mistaken for a Trump supporter because of my ethnic heritage, right? And probably because of the vehicles I drive or the position I hold professionally. You know, so we have to be cognizant and aware that when shit hits the fan, even if it takes a week to get into it, as soon as you're there, you need to understand that you're going to be a target of these people, these ridiculous leftists who see a boogeyman in everything. And more so, or more importantly than that boogeyman, is the fact that that boogeyman authorizes them to react in a violent manner. As if a state of war has occurred and a declaration of war on their side against everybody that opposes them is on. Now, you'll say, John, how can you come to that conclusion? How can you get from here to there? How can you do it? Well, it takes one fucking protest in Portland, or one fucking protest in Berkeley, or one protest in Missouri, or Atlanta, or Chicago. It takes one fucking protest, and you get a bunch of these protesters, these leftists together. They whip themselves into a frenzy, almost like some sort of quasi-religious hypnotic trance. And then they engage in mobocracy and mob mentality. And during these riots and gatherings and protests, whatever you want to call them, they become violent. Violent. Especially at night, because at night they believe they're not seen and that they won't be held accountable, right? Because they're hidden in the dark. When shit hits the fan, it will become a shit show. It'll be a partisan war. Now, if I'm wrong, wonderful, I'm wrong. You have a concealed weapons permit because I said go get one. If I am wrong, it won't hurt you a bit to have a concealed weapons permit. Practice more and be aware of the threats out there. If I am wrong, you're still alive. Now, if you don't get a concealed weapons permit, if you don't have at least a good means of self-defense on you and around you, and something bad happens, and you don't have the means to protect yourself, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to be beat, stabbed, or shot, or a combination thereof. If I'm wrong, there's nothing bad that happens to you. If you're wrong, you, your family, your friends, and people around you are going to be hurt. It's already happened at simple protests. And when shit hits the fan, it's going to happen on a scale that is unimaginable. And that is why we bunker in, and that is why we bug out, and that is why we have a good plan. Right? You need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. You need that means of self-defense. But you need a plan, and you need to understand that area around us. That is key to surviving the stupidity that's coming. You see, if shit hits the fan was a time of rational, logical, common sense type thinking, we wouldn't have any need to worry about anything. We would just have to get together, sing a little kumbaya, get to work planting some vegetables and harvesting chicken eggs, and hey, everything will be just fine. That's not the world we live in. We live in a world that is so divided that you can look at 10 people and only 2 of them will be sympathetic to the way you think culturally and politically. And the rest are going to be somewhere else. Even if they're the same politics, they're not going to have the same culture. They're going to be different. They may not be your flavor. They may be their own flavor of weirdness. They could be radical right. There is a radical right out there. I just don't know them. I don't participate with them. I don't follow them, and I don't look for them. But I know they exist. Right? But the radical left is not hidden. It doesn't hide, it doesn't hide up in the mountains in foggy, dark crevices. Socialism is on the streets of the cities, waving the communist flag of the Soviet Union and also of China. They openly do it while they hide their faces. And I'll tell you, I'll wrap it up with this. I guarantee that the reason they cover their faces is they don't ever want to be seen and known for being communist, because if they lose, they're not going to have a job if they're pointed out to be terrorists. And how about all those pretty young girls in college that want to cover their faces? It's because at some point they're probably going to want to marry a rich Republican who has a job, a future, and a brain in his fucking head. And she's going to want to get married and have kids and have a normal life at some point once she realizes the stupidity of her ways. Because everyone that participates in these Antifa crowds, I know they've got no future ahead of them. They're waiting for the socialist takeover so they get handouts the rest of their fucking life. And if you are going to stop that, then you are the enemy. See how that works? They want freebies. They want their tuition forgiven. They want handouts. They want entitlements. And they want everyone else to pay for it. And if you take that from them, you're a Trump supporter, and that's a microaggression on itself. Telling them no is a microaggression to these socialist ding-dongs. And they hide their identity because they're hedging their bet. But if they can push it, they will. And shit hits the fan will give them the excuse. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Get a concealed weapons permit. Get some self-defense. Start the process now. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. because it'll be the weekend wrap-up. Thank you for supporting us here at the Prepared Mind channel, the Prepared Mind Club, over at Facebook, right? Patreon is where it's at, and we're doing the best we can to keep the information flowing, the perspectives that you need so you can think about what's going on out there. You guys make it happen. If it wasn't for you, instead of sitting in this chair, I'd be at another job doing something else to get paid more money so I can do the best I can to financially be in a position to prep and be ready. Thanks a lot, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.